settles deep into your bones. At the very end of the street, in front of a small white house with ivy climbing up its walls, a dog slowly limped toward the porch. His fur was dirty, his ribs faintly showing, and the sadness in his eyes told a story no one had ever listened to. He had been left behind, discarded, forgotten. He had wandered the streets for days, sleeping under parked cars, searching for scraps near garbage cans, and avoiding loud footsteps that reminded him of everything he had lost. Every night he prayed silently for something, someone, a sign that he still mattered. That morning he finally collapsed in front of the White House's doorstep. Too tired to walk any further, too cold to stand. He curled into himself, shaking lightly. And then the door opened. Emily, the woman who lived there, froze at the sight. A weak dog, staring straight into her eyes. For a brief moment they simply looked at each other. His eyes were dark but soft, pleading without sound, begging without moving. Emily could feel her heart tightening, like it recognized something familiar. She didn't see a stray. She didn't see danger. She saw someone lost. Slowly she crouched down. "Hey buddy, what happened to you?" she whispered. The dog didn't growl, didn't flinch. He simply lowered his head into her open palm as if he had been waiting for that touch his entire life. Emily swallowed deeply. "Come in. Just for today." She pushed the door wider. The dog hesitated, almost like he feared he might ruin everything if he stepped inside. But with a soft call he limped into the warm living room, his eyes scanning the unfamiliar space. Inside, a gentle cooing sound filled the air. Emily's newborn daughter, Lila, was lying in her crib, kicking her tiny feet with curious little grunts. The dog lifted his head, listening. Emily watched him carefully, ready to intervene if needed. But instead, something unexpected happened. He walked closer. Very slowly. Very quietly. He stopped right next to Lila's crib, sat down and tilted his head in soft wonder. The baby's eyes drifted toward him and, miraculously, she smiled. A small, warm smile that spread across her little face like sunshine breaking through clouds. Emily's breath caught. She had never expected this stray, this wounded, frightened creature, to react with such gentleness. Lila reached out her hand, fingers stretching toward him. The dog lowered his head, letting the baby touch his fur. Something changed in that moment. A connection. A spark. A bond neither of them had before. From that day on the dog stayed. Emily fed him, cleaned his wounds and wrapped him in blankets at night. He slept next to Lila's crib, refusing to leave her side even for a minute. Whenever she cried, he rushed to her. Whenever she laughed, his tail thumped wildly like a drum. And every time Emily watched them together, she felt her heart melt a little more. She started calling him Chance, because that's what she believed he deserved. Second chance at life. Days turned into weeks. Chance regained his strength, his coat grew shinier, and his eyes, they finally looked alive again. Emily realized she had not just taken in a dog. She had taken in a guardian, a friend, a soul that needed love as desperately as she did. One evening, she rocked Lila to sleep and found Chance quietly lying beside the crib, watching over them like a gentle protector. Emily sat next to him, brushing his fur softly. "You're not going anywhere, are you?" she whispered. Chance lifted his head and rested it gently on her lap. That was his answer. From that night forward, he wasn't just a guest. He wasn't a stray. He wasn't temporary. He was family. Emily filled out the adoption papers the next morning, tears gathering in her eyes as she signed her name. Chance nudged her hand with his nose as if thanking her. The world had once thrown him away. But this little house, this woman, this baby, gave him something he never thought he'd find again. A home. A purpose. A place where he belonged. And every night, as Lila slept peacefully with Chance curled beside her, Emily silently thanked the universe for the moment a tired, lonely dog showed up at her door, and changed all their lives forever. On the coldest night of November, a massive cane corso named Apollo stood shivering behind the rusted bars of a shelter kennel, a dog everyone said was broken beyond repair. But Rachel Bennett didn't see a monster. She saw a soul quietly waiting for someone to choose him even when the world never had. When she signed the adoption papers, every voice around her said the same thing. Rachel, you're a single mom. 2 kids. 2 jobs. You can't bring that dog home. But she did. Apollo arrived with a crooked ear, a faint limp, and a silence that felt ancient. He didn't bark or growl. Instead, he watched everything with the painful patience of someone who had learned not to expect kindness. Rachel set rules. At night, Apollo stayed in the basement. Not as punishment but as a way to help him adjust. To give him a quiet place that felt safe. She showed her kids Lily and Ethan the heavy door at the top of the stairs. You don't go down there alone, she said softly. Not because he's dangerous, but because he's scared. For 2 weeks, Apollo moved like a ghost, eating politely, lying on the old couch in the basement, observing the world as if deciding whether he belonged in it. But Lily saw something no one else did. Every time Rachel cracked open the basement door, Lily peeked inside. Apollo, from the shadows, lifted his head whenever he sensed her tiny footsteps. And for a moment, just a moment, his eyes softened. By week 4, the strange behavior started. Every morning, his water bowl empty, his food barely touched, and the couch still perfectly made like he hadn't slept in it at all. Where are you going at night? Rachel whispered one morning, staring at the untouched blanket. Then came the sound, the faint click of nails on concrete. Every night. Exactly 2:15 a.m. Then silence. He disappeared into that silence until dawn. And every morning she'd find him sitting upright, awake, watching the stairs as if waiting to be discovered. One night she decided she'd had enough guessing. At 2:10 a.m. she stood silently behind the door. At 2:15 Apollo rose, stretched, and padded toward the far corner of the basement, the old storage room Rachel never used. He nosed the door open and slipped inside. Her heart pounding, Rachel tiptoed down the stairs. When she gently pushed the door open, her breath caught in her chest. Moonlight from the tiny basement window revealed a boy, no older than 12, curled tightly in the window well. His clothes were dirty, his face pale. And beside him, wrapped around him like a living shield, was Apollo. The giant dog lifted his head, meeting Rachel's eyes. No fear. No guilt. Just a question. Please, don't take him away. Rachel didn't step forward. She simply sat at the doorway and whispered, "It's okay, boy. You're not in trouble." The boy woke when the police and CPS arrived an hour later. His name was Marcus. He had been hiding there for almost 2 months after fleeing another abusive foster home. He survived on scraps, cold air, and the thin hope that nobody would send him back. Until Apollo found him. He must have smelled him, the CPS worker said quietly. Some dogs sense fear, but this is compassion. Marcus clung to Apollo's fur as they wrapped him in blankets. And when he looked up at Rachel, his voice was barely a whisper. "You're not gonna send him back, right? Dogs like him. People always return them." Rachel knelt down, her hand trembling as she touched Marcus's shoulder. "No," she said firmly. "No one here is being sent back. Not you. Not him. You both stay, if you want to." 6 months later, the paperwork wasn't finished, but the family was. Marcus shared a room with Ethan. He helped Lily with school projects. He started laughing again, sometimes so loudly the neighbors noticed. And Apollo? He slept every night beside Marcus's bed, his head resting against the boy's mattress like a promise. When Rachel's ex-husband visited, he shook his head. "He's huge, Rachel. Aren't you even a little scared?" Rachel smiled. "Scared? No. Apollo didn't find danger in my house. He found someone who needed him, and he didn't hesitate. Because sometimes the souls that were hurt the most develop the strongest urge to protect. Sometimes the ones the world labels as dangerous are the only ones brave enough to love without fear. So ask yourself, do we fear powerful dogs because they're dangerous? Or because we never took the time to discover how gentle they truly are?" On a cold, gray morning, the wind swept through the quiet neighborhood like it had a message to deliver. It wasn't a message of warmth or comfort, but one of loneliness, the kind that settles deep into your bones. At the very end of the street, in front of a small white house with ivy climbing up its walls, a dog slowly limped toward the porch. His fur was dirty, his ribs faintly showing, and the sadness in his eyes told a story no one had ever listened to. He had been left behind,